and we're recording. How fun. Okay. I can take us away. So what is SCAP? Sort of a breakdown. SCAP stands for the Santa Clara Community Action Program. We're an umbrella organization. We have about 20 different programs that can center around volunteer and activism. We're by and large a group of students who are really passionate about social and believe that we can have a lot of power to positively contribute to our community. We are one of the longest running CSOs. We began as a collection of students as protesters against the Vietnam War. And since then, we've been really centered on our roots in social justice and activism and just promoting a culture of awareness on our campus.
And how we organize our structure is through 4 departments: health and disabilities, neighborhood perspectives, education mentoring, and on-campus advocacy. And under each of those, there is a department coordinator and 5 program coordinators.
So like Gracie said, under each department are 5 program coordinators. Those are students who sort of have a niche under their department that they focus in, whether it be in an on or off campus practice. So to start off, we'll talk about health and disabilities. Nearly 1 in 5 Americans have a disability, making people with disabilities the largest minority group. The Health and Disabilities Department advocates for people with disabilities of all ages in the greater Santa Clara community. Some of our specific issues have been in disability rights, healthcare, reproductive health, ableism, and ageism. We've put a lot of focus on COVID-19 in the past couple of years, and special education. One of our biggest events through the Health and Disabilities Department is Special Olympics every spring, and we collect a lot of student volunteers to come and help to run the program with an off-campus community partner. We also, in the past couple of years, have worked on emphasizing self-care and mental health awareness for our students on campus, and we especially focus on that around finals week.
And then our next department is neighborhood perspectives. So this focuses on really giving back to the community that we're a part of here. We get to be privileged to be able to study and learn in this wonderful, beautiful campus of the Santa Clara bubble. So this gives you a chance to get off campus and really immerse yourself in the community we're around, as well as give back to the people that are hosting us for our education. So the Neighborhood Perspectives Department focuses on gentrification, housing insecurities, and homelessness, which are the 3 major issues affecting many of the people who live in our the Bay Area. With Silicon Valley's tech companies driving up house prices, it's more important than ever for the students to understand the struggles of our surrounding communities and advocate for their needs. So these topics and issues that this department works with is LGBTQ+ youth experiencing homelessness, Bay Area gentrification, affordable housing, gun control, destigmatizing homelessness and mental health awareness, day laborers, and undocumented workers. So in the past, this has been lots of volunteering in homeless shelters or the LGBTQ+ youth space, giving students a chance to work with vulnerable youth, as well as in the past, we've collected donations to give to homeless people to help them, unhoused people to help them with their current situation.
Our next department is on-campus advocacy. And on-campus advocacy operates as 5 different clubs that do meet weekly on campus with other students. So I thought I would put up a couple posters from some of the events from our past school year and walk through them with you guys. So the first one is Queers and Allies. Queers and Allies focuses on creating a safe space for activism for queer students. So one of our biggest events is the Rainbow Prom, which is at the end of spring quarter. We had our first one this past year in I think 2 years. So it was really fun. We had a pretty great turnout, and Queers and Allies also works with other LGBT emphasized spaces on campus that can include QPACA, which is queer space for students of color, and also the Rainbow Resource Center, which helps students LGBT spaces throughout Santa Clara really try to keep a network for each other. So I thought I'd throw that out there as well. The next one is advocacy for workers on campus. That focuses on protecting the rights of our service workers and supporting them, working with the people that work in our cafeteria and our little satellite cafes around campus, really making sure that they feel how much our student body appreciates them. You also have the student labor solidarity, which focuses on protecting our adjunct lecturers. For those of you who don't know, adjunct lecturers have less job security, less pay, and honestly a little bit of less respect from the university. And so the point of SLS is to give a student backing and really hoping that we can create a stronger voice along with adjunct lecturers. And we made really big strides this past school year. SLS was able to help in securing a unionization vote for the SU faculty that had passed in this past May. So I think SLS is a great example of how much impact the student community can on. The bottom left is from ENACT, which is our environmental justice group. Their biggest emphasis this past school year has been on encouraging SCU to divest from fossil fuel investments and really putting our money where our mouth is in terms of environmental justice. And the last group is Feminists for Justice. This is a group dedicated to focusing on feminism and its intersections. The biggest event of Slut Walk, and honestly one of our biggest events as SCCAP, is the Slut Walk. And that's a celebration as well as a conversation around female empowerment and how that can intersect with education access and assault awareness, and really making sure we have a space for our female identifying students to feel uplifted. So that's on campus advocacy.
And then our fourth one is education and mentoring. So this this department is primarily using kind of what you think of like your good old like volunteering with kids and anything kid oriented is heads in our education mentoring department. So this is volunteers with schools in the local San Jose area while discussing the greater systematic educational inequalities that exist in our society. So the specific issues that we work with is the school to prison pipeline, DACA, first generation students, and education rights and regulations. In the past, during COVID, we've had to transition a little bit because we haven't been able to go into schools. There was a lot of conversation around racism in our schools and segregation in our schools, and different ways that we can make an impact individually as well as the way we can impact the greater systems. In the past, but during COVID, we spent a lot of time focusing on the way that we can educate ourselves as SCCAP, as departments, as well as the greater Santa Clara University community on anything that would be better to make sure that we make our education better for ourselves and those around us.
Okay, so how to get involved. Hopefully you all want to come and join us. So there are two ways to get involved with SCCAP. There's hired and volunteered. Hired positions are paid. We are currently hiring a program coordinator for Feminists for Justice, program coordinator for Queers and Allies, a program coordinator for education and mentoring, and 2 program coordinators in neighborhood perspectives. So fall quarter. And you can always find us at Activities Fair. You are certainly able to reach me and Gracie. And the easiest way to get announcements from us is at our Instagram. It is a commitment because it's a paid position. So if that's not your style, we do volunteer opportunities, much more flexible. Our focus over the past couple of years due to COVID has been really on the reflection side. It's been, we can't go out into the San Jose community, so let's take it back to our own spaces and really educate ourselves and put an emphasis on the student community. This is obviously going to continue to be an emphasis for SCCAP, and it's a cornerstone of our mission, but we really are hoping this school year to rebuild our connections with community partners and revisit the power that off-campus work can do. So we would love to have students like you guys that are eager and excited about it and want to be a part of something that can be really special. So we would love to have you guys for either of those.
Yeah, and I have to say, as someone, so I forgot to say where I'm from. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. It was such a great experience for me my freshman year, being able to get off campus and explore what was around us through volunteering. It was really a great way to get to know the city I was in and the people that I was surrounded by. So yeah, we would love to have you on our staff too. We have so much fun on staff. We have a lot of fun together and really building connections, and it's just a very passionate staff. Every person in SCAP has at least one or two passion projects that they're fully engrossed in, and fully supported by being a SCAP staff. So you have all the resources available to you to help you with any passion project you want help with. But yeah, so yeah, volunteering is also another great way to just get to know your area better and get to know yourself a little bit better in the process.
If anybody has any questions for me and Gracie, you're free to send them in the chat, speak them out loud if you're really feeling bold and cool. If not, I already put me and Gracie's emails in. Love to hear from you guys, love to hear from the incoming class. But yeah.
I know I'm a little bit older too, if you want to ask any questions about Santa Clara University in general too.
And then there's also your 3 OLs here. Yahoo! So we have all these little tips and tricks about SCU and working on campus as well, if you are very interested in any of that. So ask away. You can either use the little raised hand motion if you want to say your question out loud, or you can type in the chat and we'll get to it.
I got a question in the chat from direct message, so I'll just start talking about that. But what would you say the hired position commitment is like? Can talk a little bit about that. So program coordinators, which is our first tier of hired applications, what most people apply as in their first year being a part of SCAP, we ask that you do 3 hours of office hours. We are moving our office. I mean, it doesn't really apply to you guys because you're just going to see our new office when you come to campus, but it'll be in the basement of Benson, our cafeteria. And we just ask that you spend 3 hours a week hanging out in there, sit and do your homework. But if a student comes in and they're asking about SCAP or volunteer opportunities, you have an in-person one-on-one resource to talk to them. So the office hours is a commitment. If you are part of on-campus advocacy, if one of you guys applies for Feminists for Justice or for Queers and Allies, we would ask you to host a once-a-week club meeting to get in contact with students on campus and work with them. If you are in the education and mentoring or neighborhood perspectives department, we would ask you to focus on, for about the same hourly commitment as OCA, to focus on your niche, what you're really passionate about. For example, if education and mentoring, you really want to focus on getting connected with first generation students, we would ask you to spend that X amount of hours a week. We usually suggest 1 to 2, as that's equivalent to a club meeting for our other departments, to focus on establishing connections with grade schools in the San Jose area, to be connecting with the LEAD Scholars Program, our first generation program, and talking with them, maybe hosting events together. But if you combine those, it's about 4 to 5 hours a week, including 2 staff meetings that you'd also be asked to attend to, one for your department and then one for the greater staff. We go on retreats every quarter. They're super fun. We've gone to the beach, we've gone camping. They're really just times for us as a staff to bond and also for us to reflect on the work that we're doing. So all in all, I'm going to say it's an average 6 hours per week of work. And it's all worth it because it's super fun and you're doing really important. Yeah, Gracie, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
Yeah, no, for the time commitment, yeah, I would say like 5, yes, 5 to 8 hours, but like we said, half of it's office hours, and the pure purpose of office hours is to bond with the SCAP staff. We are talking about really serious topics and really emotional topics at times, so we like to really build that sense of community and really build the friendships. We actually are mostly female staff, looking to diversify that a bit, but we're loving the connections we're building. That's personally been my favorite part of SCAP, is you really build really close connections with a lot of passionate people. So it's a really great experience. And it doesn't even feel like you're putting in work or like it's an extra thing. It's like something I look forward to. I'm like, oh, I'm done with my classes, now I get to do SCAP stuff. So yeah, it's a really great experience.
I also want to pop in and say that majority of the on-campus like job opportunities are like that, like where you just show up and like you're in this little fun community, and then you kind of get paid for it, but then you're also like giving resources to anyone who walks in. So it's very fun. I do recommend it.
Yeah, to Maddie's point, truly taking part in any of our CSOs on campus is a fantastic opportunity to find a community to bond with. It's a great opportunity to meet people. Um, I am going to answer the quick, how long are the hiring positions offered? So we normally do our hiring in the spring, and then whatever positions aren't filled, we open back up in the fall for incoming first years and for anyone else who maybe didn't have time to apply in the spring. It is for the whole school year, so you're going to keep that commitment from when you get hired the second or third week of school until you either reapply or decide to put your energies elsewhere at the end of spring quarter.
Yeah, and I can speak on the fact that for me, I've actually had the privilege, or since being a senior, incoming senior, which is crazy, I've spent a lot of time in different positions within SCAP. So my freshman year, I wasn't on SCAP staff. I was just a volunteer. I volunteered with kids. What is this problem? Oh my gosh. I volunteered with homeless youth. So I went to a family shelter once a week and helped kids with their homework and kind of just hung out with them, as well as did some tutoring for some lower income middle schoolers. This was my freshman year, and then sophomore year, I was a PC, which means I was focusing on racial education at Santa Clara. So kind of like creating spaces that students at Santa Clara could learn more. This was kind of around when the BLM protests were happening. So kind of giving kids students at Santa Clara space to learn and educate themselves. If they weren't sure where to get their information or the best way to do it, gave them a space to learn, because everyone's always learning, right? So it's always just a given space. And then my junior year, so last year, I was the department coordinator for health and disabilities. So I got a new role of like deciding, of helping support other PCs and supporting other people who are so passionate about what they're doing, which made me want to become the director and help even more people feel empowered and supported in any of their missions that they want to complete. SCAP has definitely been a highlight of my entire time at Santa Clara, and I can't recommend it anything more. It's definitely my favorite part of Santa Clara.
Yeah, I know for me, I was coming into Santa Clara and had a lot of experience in social justice work and activism work, but I was so excited to take part in that in California of all places, especially on a campus that really prided itself in social justice and service. And so finding that community in SCAP has been absolutely incredible for me. I couldn't be more thankful for it. Having the opportunities to connect with students and also to, like Gracie said, we're always learning. And so to continue the education process for myself and to also witness other students grow and learn together and being able to share that information with their friends and their classmates and their peers has really been incredible and has really maintained the fire in me to continue caring so much about social justice work and feeling the passion for the change that it can create, because sometimes it can be kind of lonely when you think you're fighting that fight all by yourself. And so to have a community of people that will relentlessly support you and lift you up is very special. So I couldn't be more proud to be representing SCAP. I will start with the favorite parts and or memories for SCAP. Thank you so much for asking. For me, mine was Slut Walk. Slut Walk was, I think, week 4 of spring quarter. It was absolutely a pleasure working with, she's now going to be our department coordinator for on-campus advocacy. Her name is Rhea. She is an astounding leader. She is incredibly gifted at what she does. And she worked like a maniac to get Slut Walk happening. You know, we really weren't sure if it was going to all come together and if we were going to be allowed to do it. And to see such a passion for our entire SCAP staff came into it, people from different departments or people in different areas of focus all came together to really put this on. And so, like I said, Slut Walk was a celebration and conversation around feminism and its intersections. And so we had, I think, 20 other clubs and groups also represented at Slut Walk, coming together to support each other and also have a safe space for our female identifying population to join together and be proud at times, is to also be angry or upset or just to release any feelings that they had throughout the whole school year at the world or at Santa Clara. It was an incredible experience, and I was just filled with the utmost of gratitude, and I had a lot of friends that came and supported, and that's been one of my favorites. Yeah, I did give a speech. Thanks, Sydney.
She's a great
And
public speaker. If anyone has a chance to hear her while she speaks, she does such a great job. It's so impressive.
adore. Oh, thank you guys. It's really sweet. But yeah, Gracie, I don't know about you. Any other favorite memories?
I guess more like something I'm so grateful for, I guess. For me, like small things really lead up to like, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm becoming a senior thinking post-grad, very scary, like vocational stuff. But actually it was first Slut Walk. Rhea wanted to hand out reproductive aspects. So like we wanted to hand out condoms and other reproductive health materials. And the school was like, no, we're Catholic. No. I was like, okay, that's not what we're doing here. So it was nice to be able to navigate that for Rhea, who, as Grace said, was working super hard to put on this event. So it was nice to be able to take something off her plate and advocate for something she wanted and needed at that event. So to be able to navigate admin like that was really entertaining to me, to the point where now I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love to be an administrator and make sure that to make students' lives easier. So then that's been really helpful for my like career deciding what I want to do. That's something I've been really grateful for. And then also retreats are super fun. Those are really good like memories, just straight bonding. As well as we have a relations manager, relations coordinator, a relations person this year as a new hired position to help with both inner SCAP relations, so more social aspects of our club or our organization, and as well as with other organizations on campus to try to make sure that we are improving SCAP's relationships with everybody, making sure we can have as many collaborations as possible to make the school year as fun and informative and a safe space for everybody.
I think I'm gonna hop in. I don't know, Sydney and Maddie, you can hop in after me as well if you have like also like a favorite SCAP memory. But I helped out because I was good friends with the Queers and Allies coordinator for the last year. So helping out with the Rainbow Prom, like I was helping out the entire day, and it was such like an exercise. Like I got to see it from like the beginning when it was just like we were like moving stuff over there. It's like the end where we were cleaning up, and it was like so much fun like helping out. Um, yeah, yeah, the Rainbow Prom is so fun. Like decorations adorable. Little mushrooms hanging around. The cotton candy. I didn't know that you could have mango flavored cotton candy. That was amazing. Yeah, and I also learned how to use like the photo box. So I would definitely say Rainbow Prom for me was like such like a good memory. I got to meet new people through
Yeah. I did not get to go to Rainbow Prom. I think I had to go somewhere that evening, but I did see it getting set up and it was so cute. So I'm sure it was super fun. I think I went to Slut Walk for a little bit. And I did get to see Grace talk. That was really good. And that was just a beautiful day and everyone wore coordinated colors. And that was just like a really great thing to see on our campus. And people really did. It was really like a coming together moment. So that was really awesome. But also like, you know, the people from the Health and Disabilities Department this past year, like would give out little plants or little treats or candy like during finals week, and like that was always like very heartwarming. So definitely be on the lookout for them when you see them and say hi and go up and talk. I love talking to you, and hopefully as Grace said, we'll make some more memories this year since I'll be working in health and disabilities. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have an interaction?
I did actually. I helped out, not per se planning, but one of my friends was or took part in Rainbow Prom. And when she came into the MCC office, she was like, "Can y'all help with like XYZ?" And I was like, "We definitely can." And I think it's fun because when I afterwards doing all that with my friend helping for Rainbow Prom, they reached out to like the MCC and we they're like, "Thank you so much for XYZ." And it was during the time where we had most of like MCC club leaders in there for some reason. I'm not sure why. There's always people in the MCC. Like you would meet like co-chairs of every club just randomly and you're like, "Wow, what the heck?" But it's fun. But they looked at me and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that we worked with SCCAP." And I was like, "Yeah, we do." And then I actually had a conversation with like the MCC managers and I asked what we could do more in terms of how we can help out with SCCAP, and they gave me like a list of things, and I am just so excited to see what happens next. We want to hear from y'all. Do you know about, or how did you find out about SCCAP, or did you just come here just because? Gabriella and Jalissa.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, my voice kind of croaky because I've been sick, but
Oh, how
I-
you doing?
yeah, but anyways, when I was first researching Santa Clara and like doing all of my college apps, I remember like learning about SCAP on their website because I was researching on campus advocacy. So that was like one of the key things that made me want to apply to Santa Clara. So this I definitely something I want to be a part of. So yeah, that's how I got to know more about it.
Yay, I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, we're definitely so excited to be able to be fully back in person for an entire school year, to be able to have our full range of events go without a single. So happy that COVID's becoming to be in the rear view mirror, so you can have a full SCCAP year, having all of our full events, because we do have such a robust program, and so grateful for the school's funding to have all these programs. Yeah, so excited to meet you and probably have you on staff.
I didn't hear about SCAP until a couple days ago, in one of the Bronco exchange events. But I always knew that Santa Clara had like an emphasis on community service, and I went to a high school that also emphasized a lot on community service. So I'm excited to participate and be involved.
Yeah, definitely. I actually came from a school that we had to do community service in order, or like we had to do hours in exchange for like being at the school, I guess. And it was fun because I got to continue that with programs at SCU. And I was so surprised that there was just like a wealth of them just available to us. And it wasn't hard for me to like scrounge around and like search for them or ask from a friend of a friend, like, "Oh, where can I do XYZ?" It was more so like just given to me. And I was like, "Wow, thank you. Lovely."
Yeah, Maddie, I completely empathize with what you're saying. My high school was not very service emphasized, or at least it was very surface level. It was very, I'm doing this to make myself feel better, like very self-gratifying. So a lot of the work that I've done here in Cleveland has been like away from my high school, and I had to like find it on my own. And so it was really nice to come to Santa Clara and have it be like waiting for you at the door and wanting you to come in, and really across the board in all of our organizations that have any semblance to social justice or activism work are all just like eager to have students come in and join them. So really, it's just lovely to see that there's people in the incoming class that feel similarly.
And we love that you're females. Go girls.
Could y'all
Alrighty.
actually, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Maddie. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, both Graces, could y'all maybe speak on the maybe demographic of SCAP and like what y'all are looking towards or want more in the future?
Oh my gosh, this is what what SCAP's 2022 to 2023 school year is rebranding and re-identifying who SCAP is. Kind of post-COVID, like we mentioned, we had a lot of reflection. And as Grace has mentioned, like the foundation of SCAP started with the Vietnam War, and then it was a really big Christian program for a while. It had a lot of white savior complex issues for a while. And now 2022, SCAP is right now we have 26 students on staff, all female, and 21 students of color out of that. So it is a predominantly woman of color program, which is a big transition for the program as itself. So I think that new identification for SCAP, as well as the relationships we build with the other CSOs and other on-campus organizations, will be important in making sure that we're seen as a place of education, a place of learning, and a place of understanding, to make sure that we can make the biggest impact of both on campus and off campus. So we're really just looking for one, passionate. Number one thing is, want you to be passionate about social justice and passionate about change and passionate about helping others. And then after that, looking, I guess, just for someone who wants to make a difference. This is number one, I guess.
Yeah, I would say to Gracie's comment just here about the types of students that we're looking for, I would put people that want to make a difference on the same level as importance of people willing to educate themselves. I think that that's such a crucial part of walking that line of service and saviorship, is people that are willing to reflect and educate themselves as much as they have the passion to educate and help other people. Santa Clara is a place of privilege, as most higher education institutes are. So we really just want to grow our student community as one of reflection and empathy, and that should be reflected in our staff as well.
We hope you guys like to have fun. We also do a lot of fun stuff too. A lot of, like I said, our bonding is a lot of socializing, a lot of idea bouncing, kind of just vibing. Yeah.
Jalissa or Gabriella, do y'all have any more questions you want to ask us?
I got a question in the chat if y'all want to answer. They said sort of unrelated, but like I think it is related. Is there like a donation center or something like that on campus for items we are no longer in need of or use, or like no longer need or use that are still in good conditions? Is there any?
Can I ask a clarifying question about the question?
Sure.
Are these like things to donate to SCAP or for SCAP to donate to off campus?
Either.
Okay, so Santa Clara University and its 8,000,005 bylaws gets a little tricky when it comes to donations. If there are things that you, what's the word? Like tangible things, so like notebooks, pens, papers, binders, folders, things that maybe you donate to our education and mentoring program. There's an area in the bottom of Benson, the basement, where you can give those to, and it can be given to other students and staff members. If you are looking to give things for SCAP to give to another organization off campus, say a shelter or a school, we are not able to raise funds for them, but we are able to donate to them in terms of tangible things. Gracie, please correct me if I'm wrong. But if you wanted to just like give us a $50 bill and say, please give this to San Jose Middle School, unable to do that. When it comes to money and monetary donations, that's when I would say take out the middleman and give straight to whatever cause you're looking for. So much of our staff has so many passions. And so if you said, I don't know who to give my $50 bill to, we would tell you who to give it to, but you would not be able to just hand it to us and give to an organization. A, I'm not sure if that answers your question. B, Gracie, please correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
no, that was right. We're more
Okay, swag.
we can be more of a helping hand in that. We can say, like, kind of like Grace said, we can tell you where to donate it, how to do it, what's credible, what's reliable. We can't do it as a SCAP organization ourselves because we get money from the school. So really nitpicky adult accounting, I don't know. Someone's job is to keep track of that, and they do not do a very good job of explaining how to do funds for college kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can help you figure out how to donate. And like, what I got from the question was like, if you had like things you wanted to donate, like if you had like a sweatshirt that you want to, like, like, I don't know, you clean out your spring cleaning, you clean out your closet, you want to give out your clothes away. You could, there's also something called Green Team. They do pop-up thrift stores around campus during the quarter, at random times, and you can donate clothes to be then thrift shop. It's a great idea. But so that's one way, as well as we'll occasionally have drives for different products. We had a what was it, the baby drive for neighborhood perspectives for expecting mothers. So it was like diapers and wipes and onesies that we then donated on behalf of like Santa Clara University. See, it's very nitpicky about who is technically giving the donation and where is it coming from. But yeah,
because
we can help you to figure out where to go.
Yeah, so because CSOs, I don't know if this has been explained, but those are certified student organizations.
Harder.
Those are student organizations that Santa Clara gives money to. We're funded by the university. They don't need to know how we use our money, but they know that they can follow how our balance declines throughout the school year, which is why we can't fundraise money, because then they see an uptick in our money. And where'd that money come from? Well, it came to a poor student trying to do a good thing. So that's why we can't do monetary donations.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but I think that's one of the main difference between RSOs and CSOs is one of them is funded by the school and one isn't. So RSOs are more of like culture clubs and just general social clubs that aren't directly affiliated with SU, but they're under the umbrella of SU clubs.
Yeah, I think they still receive some funding,
Mhm.
but it's not like as structurally sound as like a CSO because they have to like renew every single year. Like an RSO, like a registered student organization, has to do it yearly, whereas the CSO is more like open. And I saw both Graces unmuted, so feel free to
Yeah,
add.
no, we are blessed with, I can't believe I didn't mention her name. We are blessed with Tanya Torres. She is our faculty advisor. She works for Center Student Involvement. She is a queen in every way, shape, and form. She is so team everything we're trying to do. She has such a history in like repro health, and like all this stuff. Like it's interesting because she doesn't come from a Jesuit school background. So that's what I think makes her even more interesting. She's like, well, what are all these weird rules? Like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're doing whatever students want. It's great. Amazing. We love Tanya. So we do have, which is what CSOs have versus RSOs don't have, is we do have that advisor and admin help. So we're trying to figure out, like I said, all that money stuff, all should go straight to Tanya. We're like, can we do this? Can we do that? Like, we have so many resources, which are so great. And she's like I think like now, like as is like gonna be a senior, like she's super helpful in everything I'm doing. Next, she's young. She's like what, 26, 27. So she just went through the post-grad process, and like she's a great advisor, friend, helper. 12 out of 10 recommendation for Tanya Torres.
Yeah, and just to give a little like CSO RSO difference, CSOs more structured funding, and that's where you'll find your paid positions in terms of student involvement. RSOs more social clubs, but a lot of them still have their own missions, can get some funding from the university. Other CSOs are like our student government, our student radio, Into the Wild, our yearbook, our literary magazine. So lots of different, especially if you're looking towards leadership throughout your time at Santa Clara, CSO's totally a great route to go, whatever your passion is.
Okay. Any last questions, comments we want to make? I want to give you a second just in case there's anything left. So if not, I think we're gonna wrap up because we're almost at time. Okay. Alrighty. So just to do the typical OL plug, gotta plug. It's what we do. Our upcoming events, we have quite a few things happening this evening. At 6:15 PDT, we have a Black Student Family Feud. That's gonna be a ton of fun. Me, Heidi, and Chiso are hosting that. It's gonna be a blast. We also have Face Mask Friday. Gotta do some self-care. That's always a good thing to do on a Friday evening. That's at 7 p.m. So definitely check that out if you're looking to do a little bit of self-care. Hot Topics with Idea and Ryan featuring me. So if y'all want to see me get roasted by Idea, Ryan, and whoever else shows up, feel free to come. I have prepared a little bit of material as far as what I think are some hot topics. So if you want to hear me ramble about what I think is cool and what I think is not cool, you should come at 8 p.m. PDT this evening. And yeah, see, Gabby and Julissa are like, y'all are regulars, so definitely go to the alliteration ado that's happening. I know Alex and Edric have been working on that series, so definitely make sure you stop by. Alrighty, and then just make sure to stay connected with us on Instagram at School Diaries, at SCU Orientation. Go give SCAP a follow at SCAP on Instagram. Get connected there. Follows on TikTok at SCU Orientation. YouTube, SCU New Student and Parent Programs. And if you're in Discord, join the Discord. They have tons of fun on the Discord. And I just want to say one final thank you to Grace and Gracie for joining us today. We very much so appreciate you taking the time to come and be on this event with us, and all of your knowledge about SCAP. Thank you